video, I wanted to do a book review on one of my favorite authors. I discovered her, I want to say, about 3-4 years ago, and I have been obsessed with her work ever since. I have a good amount of her books. I've read a good amount of her books, and this book in particular, I believe was my first book I ever read by her, and that was like 3 years ago, and I still to this day think about this book all the time, can remember it so vividly, and just loved every minute of it. And it is Rhythms by Donna Hill. So before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so for Rhythms by Donna Hill, this is set in the 1920s, in 1927. You are going to be in the small town of Mississippi, and you're going to meet Cora. Cora is a preacher's kid. Her parents are heavy in the church, and Cora has a voice like no other. She can just blow, okay? The only place that she has, use her voice and people hear her is at church. She knows that she has the capability. She knows she has the gift to make it, even bigger. But again, daddy, like, you're not singing for the devil. You're not singing for the world. No. But tragically, her parents end up passing, and she's like, you know what? This is my time. I'm old enough. I know I can do it. I'm going to try to pursue my dreams. And she goes from a small town in Mississippi, again, very, very green, all the way to Chicago. And in the beginning, while she's in Chicago, it's kind of difficult because she's never been on her own. Going to the clubs to, audition, they're like, yeah, no. So she's like, well, I have to make some money. Got to make ends meet. So I'm going to start working as a domestic. And she does that. And when she does that, something very tragic happens. I mean, very, very tragic. A secret that she keeps from everyone. And she has to move back to Mississippi. And when she comes back to Mississippi, she also has a little girl with her, her daughter Emma. But also in Mississippi, before she left, she had a young man, David. He was just in awe with her, loved her. And she's afraid to tell David, everything that went on in Chicago. Now she has this young child, and she's like, I don't know if he's gonna want to, be with me because now I'm a single mother, and just everything that goes along with it. And then you have Emma. Emma is ostracized in the small community, and she doesn't really know a lot about her mother because her mother keeps a distance when it comes to just everything. Okay, she loves her daughter, but there's just some things that she cannot talk about, and she doesn't know her secret. No one knows it. And because of that, Emma, she's lonely. And also she starts to despise her mom. So Emma don't like mama. So when she gets older, she's like, you know what? I want to leave this little town. I want to go away and never tell anybody about my past. And she ends up getting involved with a young man, and he doesn't know about her past, and she's not telling anybody about her past, because, well, first she doesn't know, but then she does discover what it is, and she like, yeah, I can't tell him about my family and everything that goes along with it. So she just moves away, and nobody hears from her again. But then in comes another young lady, which her name is Paris. And Paris is Emma's daughter and Cora's granddaughter, and she also has a voice like her grandmother. And Paris finds out some tea about her grandmother and her mama and everything like that. She tries to uncover it and bring the family together and all of that. So you're dealing with 3 generations, 3 different point of views, 3 different perspectives. And when I tell you Donna Hill does it so seamlessly, it is such a fantastic read. And I love the fact where you do get each one's perspective, you know what I mean? And you see how they feel about each other. If you guys like Vanishing Half, you would like this. When I read this, that's the only thing I was thinking of. I was thinking of Vanishing Half. I was thinking of some books from the Harlem Renaissance, like Blacker the Berry by Wallace Thurman. Who else? Plum Bun by Jessie Redmond Fawcett. But mainly I would say Vanishing Half. And I remember I really wanted to get into this because this was during a time where I had really gotten into Harlem Renaissance, 1920s. And anything that was set in the 1920s, I just really wanted to read. And after I read this book, I just was in awe of Donna Hill's writing. And Donna Hill's an author where she writes, first of all, her characters are memorable. Her storylines are memorable. Her characters are not, you know, the same in different settings. I also say if you like Bernice McFadden, Connie Briscoe, a little bit of Terry McMillan, BB Moore Campbell. I'm giving y'all, look, old school 90s authors that just have good work. You're gonna like her. Diane McKinney Westone. She gives you that type of writing where it's engaged. You do learn something, but she's not hitting you, you know, on the head with it. And you're entertained. You want to know what's going to happen. And for this story, I really want to know what's going to happen to each one of them. And there is a twist, and that twist will have your mouth just agape. Let me read you guys a little passage. Seems like everyone in Rodell was happy about Cora and David's baby, as if the child's birth would somehow be the gift for the loss of their beloved Joseph and Pearl. They teased her about her rapid growing belly, and with each passing day, the fear inside Cora bloomed with the growing of the child she carried. She prayed, she cried in the dark, she begged for the worst not to be true. Many a night she turned to her beloved husband, the truth burning her lips, but she could not make them speak. She could only hope. On July 30th, 1930, Cora McKay gave birth to her daughter Emma, 6 months after her marriage. 2 days later, David did the hardest, most painful thing in his life. He moved out, leaving Cora and baby Emma in the rented house by the left-hand river. There's some tea into that, but of course I'm not going to give you the tea. And also too, this book has, it's like 3 parts. So it's like, book 1 is about Emma. No, book 1 is about Cora. Book 2 is about Emma. Book 3 is about Paris. Emma came downstairs from her room, her long silky black hair around her shoulders. She walked into the kitchen and glared at her mother's back. How I hate her, she thought, with that thick black work shoes, dry hands, and forever pitiful look in her eyes. Every day she watched from the window as Cora walked from work in the house of some white family. She cringed in shame. Why did Cora have to be her mother? She was so sorry to behold with her cotton dresses washed so much that they lost colors and shapes. Was she ever happy, even pretty? She never smiled, never had a sparkle in her eyes. She just worked and walked around like a ghost. Never had much to say to her either. Never really hugged her or kissed her like she's seen other mamas do. Like she was ashamed of her or something. She's the one who should be ashamed. Ashamed that people whisper behind her back. Stop talking when she enters a room. Okay, I can't read that part because I give you all the tea. She counted the days she ran home in tears, burying her face in her mother's lap and asking why everybody hated her so much. No one of the children wanted to be her friend. Okay, yeah. So you can see Emma can't stand her mother, clearly, but there's a reason why Cora acts the way that she acts, and when you read the story, you'll find out why. But I would have to say, out of this book, my favorite character probably was Cora. Every character has so many layers, you know, so much depth. I always usually like the sweet characters or like the real mean villain characters. But for her, I think when you realize what happened to her in her past, it really does, you know, your heart goes out to her. Because she tried. She honestly did. And she thought that she was going to be able to do what she really dreamed. And it just all came, you know, tumbling down. Again, I'm being very around the bush with this book because this is also a book where it's kind of hard to explain without telling you what happened. But you guys have to read it because, again, those twists and turns just will get you all the way together. This is a story where it's well-rounded. The characters are developed. You want to know what's going to happen. But I would say one thing that I do fault Cora on is, you know, when you do have some secrets and things like that in your past, and then if, you know, you have children, I really wish she would have told Emma, you know, why she is the way she is, basically, you know, when it comes to like not being nurturing and things like that, because Emma always felt like it was me, it was my problem. And Cora never had, you know, just the guts to tell her. And although you don't have to tell her every single thing, you know what I mean? But like at least tell her the gist of it, because that girl thought all those years, and even after, you know, that, you know, her mom didn't truly love her, and Cora loved her, she just didn't know how to she didn't know how to express it because of her situation, because of her past. But she did express it very well with her granddaughter. But usually, you guys know that's how it is with, with the grandmamas. They treat their grandkids a little bit differently. You know what I mean? You kind of get, a little bit more love. You get away with a lot of things. And I think also, too, Emma's personality was totally different from Cora's, was totally different from Paris's to some extent. And she also hated that she was a domestic, and her thing was like, do better. You know what I mean? And then because of the secrets and things like that Cora kept from her, which she doesn't know why. She doesn't know why that these kids don't want to be around her. She doesn't know why these kids don't want to talk, to her or anything like that, because Cora has not told her. I think she did a disservice with that. You got to at least tell the child something, because she does not know. And my thing is, she has no agency. She is a child. Can you just imagine all your life not having your mom just show you affection like that, and her only way of saying, well, I care, I take care of you, is, keeping a roof over your head, closing your back? You need more than that. You need more than that, especially with those two, because it was just those two. The man left. Emma became a loner. So did Cora. Now, when I finished reading this book, you get closure. Fantastic. Everything is good. But remember when I was on Goodreads, putting in the information, thought that there was a sequel to this book. This is the sequel. What Mother Never Told Me. First of all, this cover. Every time I look at this cover, it angers me, because if you would look at this book, you guys, in the store, on the shelf, you probably would pass it up, because it looks so homely. It looks like there's just nothing going on. And when I tell you, this book is beyond amazing, just like this book. With this book, you're going to get more of Paris's story, because you get a glimpse of Paris's story, like the beginning, but with her singing career, and also with her relationship with Cora. You're going to get more of her relationship with Emma, and also you're going to get more into Emma's life without Cora, when Emma leaves, that small town in Mississippi. Because this one, I would say, it's kind of hard to do a review on, because I will tell, like, basically the story. It's hard to do like a review on a sequel, because you're telling all the tea from the first book. But yeah, just know that if you do read this, after this, you're gonna really dive into Paris' story and Emma's story, which I would highly recommend that if you do read Rhythms, you should read What Mother Never Told You right after, because you are going to want to know about Paris' story, because you're going to want to know about both their stories, especially Emma's, because Emma's is very, very, very interesting. It's very intriguing, and you want to know what happened after she left Cora and left that small town, because she was determined to leave that small town. And that's not a spoiler, because it's on the back of Rhythms. But yeah, you want to know how she was able to navigate. Again, if you like The Vanishing Half, you would definitely like this book. It has some similarities, but I remember after I read both of these books, in particular this book, I was kind of like, everybody was going in on The Vanishing Half, right? Which that book is fantastic. It's one of my favorites. Have 2 copies. But when it came out, people were acting like that was a new sensation. You know what I mean? That subject matter. And it's like, no. And that has, been around forever. And I just thought about, this book came out in 2001, and this one came out in 2010. Dang, she had a long sequel from this. But yeah, and I just thought about, like, why was The Vanishing Half such a big sensation? Which I do understand why it was a big sensation, because that book is fantastic, storyline's fantastic, but it wasn't anything new. That's what I'm trying to explain. And after I read these 2 books, I'm like, I wonder why this didn't get just, so much buzz, because these books are conversational pieces. They honestly are. This would be a good book. Both of these would be good books for book club discussions, because you have so much to impact. And the themes of these books it's secrets, lies, love, determination, sacrifice, loss, grieving, There's some other stuff I don't want to tell y'all because, again, I'll give it away. And Donna Hill has become one of my favorite authors. It's like every year since I have discovered her, I have put her on my list because, first of all, she has so many to choose from. Donna Hill has like over 20 books. She writes in different genres. This is the newest one that I have gotten from her. This is Quiet Storm. I think this is like a romance book. And then her newest book that she just came out with is last year. It's this, I Am Aya, the way home. I am currently reading this. I love this cover. But this author is she's just a triple threat. Okay, if you are looking for a good well-rounded story that will keep your attention, great dialogue. You guys know I am heavy on dialogue. I love dialogue. To me, that makes or breaks a book, and she just knows how to do it. Again, like I said, she's in the league of a Terry McMillan, a Connie Briscoe, a Bernice L. McFadden. She's in that league, and they are known for their dialogue, and they're known for well-rounded stories that is captivating. They just know how to tell a good story. They honestly do. And every time I can get a chance to talk about Donna Hill, I will, because it just amazes me that in general, we have so many Black authors, so many Black women authors that they just don't get the praise and recognition. And it's always the same authors. When you pick up an author that you haven't read before, that doesn't, that's not just well known, and you start reading them and you realize, why isn't anyone talking about it? It just does something to you. It honestly does. And when I read both of these books, that's what it did. Especially this one, because again, I always talk about the cover. Like, you would not be enticed, including me. If I had not known Donna Hill or not read this book, I would not be enticed to read this book because of the cover. I have learned back in the day, I used to judge a book by its cover. Now I would say after reading this book and seeing this cover, I stopped doing that because I'm like, I could have passed on a very, very, very good story. Now this cover is bomb. It is bomb, and I liked it because, again, it gives you that 1920s, jazz type of vibe. Kind of give you like Billie Holiday, the gardenia on the side of her hair. I love it so much. So this one, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting it. If she had not done a sequel to this book, it'd have been perfectly fine because you did get closure and it was realistic. She's another author too where her books are realistic. Sometimes with me, I always say closure, closure, closure. But some books, they can't just wrap up in a nice neat bow. You know what I mean? You want it to be realistic. And although sometimes you might not agree with what the author ended the book, it still was realistic. And that's one thing that I really do appreciate about Donna Hill's books. That's what this book did. And then again, when she came up with the sequel, it just made it even more, better because it really wrapped up, okay? And it was realistic. It was realistic. I'm gonna be honest, if you do read these books, especially the second book, Emma go get on your nerves. Emma is gonna be the nemesis. She honestly is. From the first book, Rhythms, Emma just got on my nerves. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. She didn't get on my nerves. I just didn't like the way that she did treat and talk to her mama. But at the same time, her mama should have told her a little bit more of, her, what happened and all the things like that. But at the same time, I don't play that. You don't disrespect your mama. Okay. Her defense, mama should have told her a little bit more about her past. But Emma go kind of work your nerve a little bit. But yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to this review of Rhythms by Donna Hill. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.